ο κύριος Γκανάτσιος, η Ντανιέλα Κάσον και εγώ, ονομάζομαι Μαρία Παραντάης. Σας καλωσορίζουμε και ελπίζουμε να είναι μια χρήσιμη εμπειρία, να σας βοηθήσει στη διεξαγωγή της μελλοντικής σας έρευνας. Ο κύριος Γκανάτσιος και η κυρία Κάσον είναι από την εταιρεία ProQuest, η οποία είναι η παραγωγός εταιρεία του προϊόντος, το οποίο θα σας δείξουμε πώς να χρησιμοποιείτε σήμερα. Ο κύριος Γκανάτσιος είναι υπεύθυνος πωλήσεων για τις περιοχές της Ελλάδας, της Κύπρου, της Ιταλίας και της Μάλτας, ενώ η κυρία Κάσον είναι υπεύθυνη υποστήριξης και εκπαίδευσης χρηστών πάλι στην εταιρεία ProQuest. Εγώ δουλεύω για την εταιρεία Interoptics, είμαστε οι αντιπρόσωποι της ProQuest στην Ελλάδα και την Κύπρο. Είμαι υπεύθυνη πωλήσεων βάσεων δεδομένων. Και θα ήθελα να πω επίσης λίγα λόγια για το πώς θα διεξάγουμε το σεμινάριο σήμερα. Ξέρω ότι η επιθυμία πολλών από το Πανεπιστήμιο ήταν να γίνεται στα ελληνικά, αλλά επειδή η κυρία Κάσον είναι η μόνη που είναι ειδικά εκπαιδευμένη για να διεξάγει τα εκπαιδευτικά σεμινάρια στα προϊόντα, ο κύριος Γκανάτσιος και εγώ θα λειτουργήσουμε υποστηρικτικά. Αυτό που έχουμε κάνει είναι να μεταφράσουμε και στα ελληνικά κάποια από τα slides, τα οποία πιστεύω θα σας βοηθήσουν, ενώ η κυρία Κάσον θα κάνει την αγγλική παρουσίαση, αλλά θα βλέπετε στην οθόνη σας κάποιο ελληνικό κείμενο. Και έχουμε επίσης χωρίσει την παρουσίαση σε τμήματα, οπότε για να διευκολύνουμε όλους, στην αρχή κάθε τμήματος θα βλέπετε ένα slide που είναι ο τίτλος της ενότητας. Από εκείνο το σημείο και μετά μπορείτε, αν θέλετε, να γράφετε στο chat τις ερωτήσεις σας στα ελληνικά και ο κύριος Γκανάτσιος και ο συνεπικουρούμενος από εμένα, αν χρειάζεται, θα τις μεταφράσει στο τέλος της ενότητας προς την κυρία Κάσον, η οποία θα τις απαντήσει και εκείνος θα βοηθήσει πάλι στο να σας μεταφέρει, αν χρειάζεται, την απάντηση. Κατόπιν θα περνάμε η κυρία Κάσον θα περάσει στην επόμενη ενότητα της παρουσίασης και ούτω καθεξής. Είναι συνολικά γύρω στις 4 ενότητες, είναι μικρές, δεν νομίζω θα σας δυσκολέψουν. Αλλά σε κάθε περίπτωση, αν υπάρχει οποιαδήποτε ερώτηση που πιστεύετε ότι είτε στην αρχή είτε στο τέλος θέλετε να την απαντήσουμε, μην διστάσετε, το chat είναι εκεί, το παρακολουθούμε και δεν έχω παρά να σας ευχηθώ καλή επιτυχία, ελπίζω να το βρείτε χρήσιμο και να δώσω στο λόγο στην κυρία Κάσον. Ντανιέλα, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Start.
Θα ήθελα πρώτα να απαντήσω σε ένα μήνυμα στο chat που είδα. Το ηχογραφούμε αυτό, οπότε θα το στείλουμε μετά την βιντεοσκόπηση αυτού του γερμανότος. Μπορείτε να κρατήσετε σημειώσεις, αλλά θα έχετε και την ηχογράφηση. Θα την μοιραστούμε με όλους μετά το τέλος.
Σωστά.
Daniela just said that we'll share the recording, so...
Yes, that I mentioned already. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I assume that you have been told everything. So I go to the next slide. You know who I am and why we are here. So the session objectives for today are for you to be able, at the end of the session, to have this unified experience using ProQuest One Academic, which is part of the One Search project by ProQuest, and we will describe what that means, and also to evaluate and select results that will come from a variety of different sources and different content types. And finally, to use some of the advanced search tools when you want to create a more efficient search, so more focused results. Okay, as you can see, we have added here in the subtitles in Greek, so I hope that will make easier for you to follow in case. At the end of the session, we will ask you please to just give us a couple of more minutes to provide your feedback using the link for the survey. It doesn't take you very long because it's just 1 page long where you can give your rating to the session, and if you want you can add a couple of lines of comments, and this is always very important for us. Okay, so this is just a more the link is in the PowerPoint presentation and is this one, and perhaps I can just take a little stop and put this in the chat so you can have it already, okay? And so when you want at the end, you can perhaps use it. But you will find it, if you don't give immediately your feedback, you will find it in the PowerPoint presentation, which will be distributed at the end anyway, okay? So just to give you a more clear idea, more detailed idea of the content of this session today, we will explain briefly what is ProQuest One Academic, how it is built and which are its components and the different source types. Then we will have a navigation along the platform using screenshots that will show you the main stages of using ProQuest One Academic, from the search up to the point where you reach the results, you can evaluate them and also see how you can save them. We will also use the so-called advanced search, which will provide you some additional tools for the most efficient, more efficient outcomes that we mentioned. Now, in the PowerPoint presentation, at the end, you will find a summary of the ProQuest search language tools and features. I don't know if we will have the time to cover these during the session. If we do, it will be useful, but in any case, you will find that in the PowerPoint presentation. And also there are several more examples of searches that you can go through. I don't know if we have time, perhaps we will see some of them together, that give you an idea of the very multidisciplinary coverage of the system. And in the PowerPoint, you will find also some additional resources that you can find on the web that help you with the tools for building your searches. So what is ProQuest One Academic? It is actually a project by ProQuest to unify into one single umbrella, or let's say one single product, access to different collections of content that used to be separate and that have been put together in this case. And these separate collections are called ProQuest Central, which is a huge collection of articles coming from journals, from newspapers, from newswires, reports, and other type of text sources, mostly. Then Academic Complete is a collection of ebooks, subscription based. We are around 20,000 books. The PQDT Global is an acronym. PQDT is an acronym for ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis. Global because the coverage, the geographic coverage is global in its intentions at least, and it includes dissertation and thesis from universities, from the majority of the North American universities and several more from all over the world. AVON, that stands for Academic Video Online, is a collection of around 60,000 videos. Okay. Everything clear so far?
Maybe I should make just a general overview commentary on this. So can you go back to the last slide so can... Okay, λοιπόν, αυτό που έλεγε και η συνάδελφός μου είναι ότι η ProQuest One Academic περιέχει 4 διαφορετικές συλλογές ή βάσεις δεδομένων, γιατί η ProQuest Central είναι μια συλλογή από πολλές βάσεις δεδομένων. Οπότε είναι και διαφορετική τύπη περιεχομένων. Η ProQuest Central που περιέχει από επιστημονικά περιοδικά, αναφορές, εργασίες συνεδρίων, κεφάλαια βιβλίων, όχι ολόκληρα βιβλία, πολλά reports, αναφορές. Η Academic Complete περιέχει σχεδόν 215.000 βιβλία, ηλεκτρονικά βιβλία, σε συνδρομητικό μοντέλο. Η ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global, που περιέχει σχεδόν 99% των βόρειο-αμερικανικών διατριβών και πάρα πολλές από τον υπόλοιπο κόσμο, σκεφτόμενοι πάντα ότι και στις Ηνωμένες Πολιτείες οι διατριβές σχεδόν οι μισοί φοιτητές είναι διεθνείς, δεν είναι μόνο Αμερικάνοι. Οπότε και από την Αμερική υπάρχει διεθνές περιεχόμενο. Και τέλος το Academic Video Online, το οποίο είναι μια πλατφόρμα με βίντεο. Έχουμε φτάσει σχεδόν σε 70.000 βίντεο. Και αυτό που πρέπει να ξέρετε και γενικά είναι ότι μπορείτε να φορτώσετε και βίντεο στην πλατφόρμα. Είναι interactive πλατφόρμα. Όπως επίσης ότι κάθε χρόνο έχετε δικαίωμα να κρατήσετε έναν αριθμό βίντεο. Δανιέλα.
Okay. In this other slide, I'm just trying to give you an idea of the size for each one of those collections. For example, in terms of number of journals, the scholarly journals, the news sources can be both newspapers or newswires, the market research reports that have mostly usage for business, particularly the market research reports. Then there are millions of company profiles, mostly North American. As we mentioned, the ebooks, the collection of ebooks amounts to around 200,000. Then the 66,000 videos and the dissertations amount to around actually 5.5 million, of which 3 millions are full text. Okay, so the majority of the information in this collection, which is multimedia, is full text. Okay, for the text sources, and then of course we have the ebooks and videos. In this, you can find, and you can peruse this at your own pace, okay? You can find the topics that are covered in the collection that is called ProQuest Central. And then also Academic Complete, which is the ebooks, is multidisciplinary with particularly emphasis on history, education, law, social sciences, business. Then there is arts and literature. You have the color key here of those different disciplines, okay? So each one of these collections are, each one of them in their own right, multidisciplinary. So the ProQuest One Academic, that's why we called it a Swiss knife, because it's useful for any type of topic that you want to investigate, as a matter of fact, okay? So it will get something useful for each topic. And with my search applications that we will see at the end, I try to show this, that for each big disciplines, you can find something useful, both historical, but also very current. Anything you want to repeat, Yannis?
Yes. Λοιπόν, εδώ είδαμε και τις βάσεις δεδομένων και τις συλλογές που αποτελούν αυτή τη συλλογή. Η ProQuest Central, όπως είπαμε, περιέχει 47 διαφορετικές βάσεις δεδομένων σε διάφορες θεματικές κατηγορίες, ξεκινώντας από εφημερίδες, επιστήμες, οικονομικά, κοινωνικές επιστήμες, επιστήμες υγείας, και υπάρχουν ακόμα και τέχνες, και μετά υπάρχουν και μια σειρά από βάσεις δεδομένων που είναι στη δεύτερη κολόνα προς τα κάτω που βλέπετε, που είναι τοπικές, περιφερειακές θα τις λέγαμε βάσεις δεδομένων, από διάφορες περιοχές του κόσμου, πολυθεματικές η κάθε μία, και σε γλώσσες τοπικές. Δηλαδή υπάρχουν από ρωσικά, κινέζικα, αναλόγως την περιοχή, ισπανικά, όλες οι γλώσσες. Και υπάρχει και μια publicly available content database, στην οποία έχουμε βάλει ό,τι υπάρχει ελεύθερο στο ίντερνετ σε μια βάση δεδομένων, η οποία είναι ευρετηριασμένη, και έτσι μπορείτε να δείτε και περισσότερο και τη χρήση αυτών των πηγών. Η Academic Complete, η οποία είναι μια συλλογή με τονικά βιβλία, με 10 θεματικές υποσυλλογές θεματικές. Η ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis, όπως είπαμε, που είναι εκατομμύρια πλέον οι διατριβές, οι οποίες είναι πλήρες κείμενο. Και Academic Video Online, το οποίο αυτό που είπαμε ότι και δίνει δικαίωμα και να διατηρήσετε για πάντα σαν ιδιοκτησία σε κάποια βίντεο. Επίσης, η πλατφόρμα της είναι πολύ εύκολη σαν βίντεο, γιατί υπάρχουν στη δεξιά πλευρά του βίντεο υπάρχει και το κείμενο, το οποίο είναι και αναζητήσιμο. Δηλαδή τα transcriptions που λέμε, αυτό που λέγεται μέσα στο βίντεο, και το μπορείτε επίσης να κάνετε αναζήτηση και σε αυτό. Επίσης, κάτι που ξεχάσαμε να πούμε, υπάρχουν βίντεο με 360 μοίρες, και που μπορούν να κάνουν, αλλάζουν λίγο την όλη ιδέα του βίντεο, γίνεται πιο μοντέρνο, να το πω έτσι. Daniela?
Okay. Okay, before we start this next session, any questions about this so far? Everything clear? We can go ahead, or you need to clarify anything? Okay, I see Okay, appearing perfect. Okay, now you will see we will go through the platform in several stages, and we'll show a very simple search at the beginning. Okay. So when you enter into the system and you select a particular database, you end up in the basic search environment. Okay, there are several levels of searching, but the easy one, which is also the home page of the product, is the basic search. That's where we are. So you have this huge box where you enter your search terms. In this case, this simple phrase, concussion sport. And from the beginning, you can either choose to select to search all the sources, or you have these big buttons, scholarly journals, books, videos, dissertations, and the more that will open a menu where you can also select a specific source if you want. Otherwise, it'll work on all the sources, okay? So the four main ones that are appearing as a single buttons are the ones that are used the most. And under more, you will see all the others. So you see there are newspapers, trade journals, wire feeds, conference papers and proceedings, and then there will be more other little specific types. When you launch the search, sorry, there is a break. There is a question. We will answer.
I will reply. I will reply.
Okay. When you launch the search, you will get to the results page. Okay. Now here you see the results as a very. I mean, we work on all the sources, and there are so many results, and we have been already applied a filter by publication date. So these are from 2016 up to 2021. The results arrive sorted, in this case automatically by relevance, but you could sort them also by publication date, most recent first, or oldest first. Then we have a couple of other limiters that you can apply. For example, you can apply the full text limiters. So we can see only the full text sources. There are other filters that you could choose. Again, this is the possibility of, for example, of selecting source types. And you see that the icons next to the records will recall the main source types that you can see in the filter here. Okay. In the same page, then we have more links that will allow us or either modify the search or look into recent searches or save the searches. Okay. But when I want to display the documents, I can just link on the title, and then will bring me to the document, or I can click on show more and will show me a preview of the abstract and the indexing of the document, staying into the same page here. And you see that also below the bibliographic citation, you can see there is a preview of which are the formats available. So for example, in this case, I have the abstract and indexing plus the full text and full text PDF, giving me also the size of the PDF. So that means that I have both the full text in HTML format and the full text in PDF. Plus this one particular also has a link that says cited by, which means that I have additional links to explore from this book. Okay. And finally, you see that I have a series of these round buttons at the top, which are collective buttons that will be active as soon as I select one or more records here on the left. And we will see the function of them because they will also appear when you go into the distinct single document. On the right side of the list of the results, you will see a little selection of books, and you can click on the show more books to see more, and also a couple of videos plus again the possibility of see more. So they are shown separately, even if they are included into the total number of results. Okay. Now, when we go into the displaying the single document, this one is an article from a scholarly journal. And in this case, I have the possibility of getting the full text in PDF. So it is the PDF of the original article with all the metadata. Plus, if you notice, I have another tag that will show me separately the bibliography of the article. So the cited references of this article can be shown separately via this link. At the top here, I always will have all these buttons that will allow me to download the PDF, to make a bibliographic citation, to send the doc content of the article, the citation of the article by mail, or to print it. But then also there are more options, as we'll see. Here you see there is the cited references. Here we have the cited by link, which will give me the articles that cite this article. So I can make a connection via the citation to other literature. And then I have also a panel showing me related items. These are usually based on the descriptors, the indexing of subject indexing used in this article. And if they are shared with other articles, they are shown me here. And so I usually this way I can find other relevant literature that is connected with my topic. Okay. Another example is an article from a newspaper. Typically, the newspapers where they are the current edition, I will have the full text in HTML, in text, okay? And you can see that my terms are highlighted along the text, so I can have a quick shot of where they are and how many of them there are, okay? But still I have at the top all my buttons where I can process these results, save it, or forward it or export it in several ways. When I click on the 3 points, the all options, a little separate panel will open that will show me all the options that I have to work additionally to this document, So the ones that we have seen before here at the top, plus the possibility of saving into my research, which is a personalized area to which you have to register, or you can save them into several cloud systems, or export them into reference manager, or save them into several formats. So these are all the options available to do something with your results, okay? And so you will find them always available in the results page, but also in the single document view page. Here is a dissertation. And again, you can see that I have the possibility of downloading the PDF of the full dissertation. I have all the bibliographic citation details here, plus again, the cited references that can be looked into and explored. Okay. Plus again, all the functionalities that we have seen before. Finally, we have the ebook. And when you link to the title of the book, you enter into the reader. And in the reader, you can read the book, you can search within the book, you have the table of contents that is broken down into sections, so you can reach a specific part of the book. And then you have an entire list of functionalities here, including the possibility of downloading the book, copy and printing in PDF, putting in your personal space, adding annotations, creating a bibliographic citation, getting the link, and providing the link to someone else. So you can use the book at several levels. And then we have the video. For the video, you can have here on the right showing the track, which is basically the table of contents, giving you the duration for each single section of the video. You can also get the link of the video that you can embed into a web page, for example. Again, we have the buttons here that they are useful to save the citation data of the video, not the video itself. And here, in between the controls, you can activate the closed captions to the video, as you can see here. Okay. Finally, if you select more than one document, you will have this area, which is called selected items, that you can click. And so you will have a separate page where only the records that you have selected are showing. And from here, and from this, again, from this row of buttons, you can create the citation, the bibliographic citation. You can select a style, and it will show here the format of that particular style, which you can then copy, download, or you can export them into the reference manager. But also you can send them by mail. You can save them in my research, or all the other functions that we have seen. Okay. So that was a brief travel along the platform from the initial search up to how you save the results. Yanis, do you want to give a little summary?
Yes, first of all, we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One of them is about exporting to Zotero, which...
Well, you can export it in RIS format. Extension .ris is typically compatible with all the reference managers. Okay.
Okay. And the other question is about case studies and how they can find particular information or numerical data for synthesizing case studies. So it's not also only about the case studies we have in the platform.
To build a case study.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
it depends on which data you mean, but keep in mind that within ProQuest Central, you have a huge collection of information that is mostly business oriented. So for example, if you need something like financial data of stock quoted companies, there is a collection that is called JP Morgan that contains market research information and reports of the stock quoted companies. Then you can have information of company profiles, or you can collect reports of commodities or particular countries, including, of course, United States. So there is a entire collection of information that is business oriented, including country reports. So for example, you can extract data of country reports from the Economist Intelligence Unit or other providers. So you can collect a lot of information. It very much depends on which angle you want to start. Okay. And keep in mind that the journal articles in particularly may have some sort of embargo. Okay, they may be typically 6 months. In some cases, it may be 12 months for some of the more strategic titles. For example, you can find the Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, and the Times, of course, New York Times, etc. So enormous number of newspapers all over the world, but particularly from the United States. Usually the newspapers don't have an embargo. Okay. I don't think not even the Financial Times does have an embargo. More the scholarly.
The Financial Times is the only one has 30 days. All the rest of the newspapers have no embargo.
No, and so they are updated to the day, basically. The news wires, they are updated several times per day. They are not real time as a news wire would be, because they have also some sort of an archive, but they are updated several times per day. So you have a very large span of types of sources that cover the also the business management, economics. So if you want to create a profile for a specific angle, you have a lot of information that are primary sources, if you will, okay, on which to build a search. So I would say that if you have a specific topic that you want to explore and you need any help, just let us know. Send us the topic and we'll see how we can help you, okay?
Αυτό είναι κατανοητό. Κατάλαβα, θα κάνω μια σύνοψη. Βασικά οι πολύ διαφορετικοί τύποι περιεχομένου που παρέχει ProQuest One Academic είναι αυτό ακριβώς, ότι υπάρχουν εκατομμύρια reports από διάφορες πηγές, Economist Intelligence Unit, Blank Report, Blank Research, υπάρχουν διάφορες πηγές, εκτός από τα ακαδημαϊκά και τα επιστημονικά περιοδικά και τις διατριβές. Ακόμα και το βίντεο μπορεί να χρησιμοποιηθεί σε αυτό. Γενικά, η ProQuest One Academic έχει φτιαχτεί με τη λογική και το πώς γίνεται η έρευνα. Δηλαδή, ένας ερευνητής θα ξεκινήσει μάλλον με το βίντεο, να πάρει μια ιδέα με το πού θα συνεχίσω την έρευνά μου. Θα περάσει με τις μονογραφίες. Το τρίτο βήμα θα είναι η ProQuest Central με τα επιστημονικά περιοδικά, τα reports. Και στο τέλος, με τις dissertation and thesis, να κάνει και μια σύγκριση με μια ολοκληρωμένη εργασία, όπως είναι μια διατριβή. Ή να ξεκινήσει ανάποδα, να ξεκινήσει από τη dissertation and thesis ο ερευνητής για να δει τι έχει ήδη γραφτεί σε κάποιο τομέα, σε κάποιο κλάδο. Να ξέρει να κάνει μια πρωτότυπη εργασία, να ξεκινήσει. Οπότε όλα αυτά τα εργαλεία έχουν φτιαχτεί και είναι διαθέσιμα στην ίδια πλατφόρμα, με μια κοινή αναζήτηση, ακριβώς για αυτό το σκοπό, να σας εκθέτει σε διαφορετικές πηγές περιεχομένου και σε αυτονία. Δανιέλα.
Okay. Now, the next session will show you what we can do when we go into advanced search, okay? So, basically the same topic. In advanced search, so from this list here, from this section here, you can select advanced search. And in advanced search, you are given a search form with several boxes. You can add more boxes from here if you want. And also you can establish that, for example, you want to search a concept in a field, another concept in another field. Now, in this case, we want to search the same two words either in the title of the document or in the abstract. Okay, so we want that the results are either document that contain those two words in the title or in the abstract. So in the menu that is between the two boxes where I can choose the operators, I choose or, and then I can select the different fields from this menu here. And this is part of the fields that are available from this menu here. Plus, I have other tools that I can apply here. For example, the limiter to the full text and the publication date, where I can say that I want anything after 31st of December 2015 or whatever I want to apply. Okay. Now, the second part of the same page will provide additional limiters, and those are the typical boxes with limiters. Source type, so which is again the list of the different sources, the document type that are part of different topic, different articles within the same source type. For example, these can be advertisement can be a part of the journal. Then there is the article, there may be back matter, there may be interview, etc. And then the language. So we can also use some of these if we want. When I click on search and I go to the results page, here is how the system will search my previous search. So we'll apply the field label TI for title, open parentheses, the search terms, close parentheses, then the OR, then the second field label AB, open parenthesis, the term, close parenthesis. And here it shows me the limit that I have applied of the publication date. And I get this, that if you compare with the previous results, just imagine, okay, how more focused my search now is, because I have singled out 2 specific fields where I want to search my terms. Basically, I have excluded the full text. So the surface to be searched is much shorter, very much focused, okay? And from the other narrow filters that are available here, I expand this. You see there are many more that I could use. The publication date, we have seen the subject, document type, language. So some of them are also available in the search page, but can be applied afterwards. And then the publication title, the location, person, company. And of course, if I am in more than one database, I have also the database filter. Okay, so I can use each one of them if I need to refine even further the number of results. But this is a huge progress from this initial result to this one. Okay. Do you want to give comment, Yannis?
Ναι, αν και νομίζω ότι με την προηγμένη αναζήτηση, να το πω έτσι, είναι απλό γιατί φαίνεται από την εικόνα κιόλας ότι μπορούμε να βάλουμε διάφορα φίλτρα, ξεκινώντας από το πλήρες κείμενο ή άμα είναι έγκριτο το επιστημονικό περιοδικό, το peer-reviewed που λέμε, και κατόπιν και οι τύποι περιεχομένου, που φαίνεται βασικά και αυτό που έχουμε κάνει, που έχουμε βάλει από διαφορετικές πηγές, διαφορετικούς τύπους περιεχομένου σε μια πλατφόρμα. Έτσι ώστε να μπορείτε να κάνετε την αναζήτηση πολύ πιο, να γίνεται πιο συγκεκριμένη. Όπως φτάσαμε από τα 160.000 αποτελέσματα στις 4.000, μόνο βάζοντας τις συγκεκριμένες λέξεις και χρονική περίοδο. Δανιέλα.
Okay. Before going any further, because the next session will be just to give you an idea of which are the tools to combine the terms. Are there any questions before I step into this part here that you want to ask before I go ahead? No? This will also, okay, this will also help clarify a little bit what we have done so far, but also what you can further do. And we'll also explain what you will see with the sample searches that will follow, okay? Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when you start searching into ProQuest, there are some behaviors that are active by default in the system, so that, for example, when you search for the singular form of a word, you will retrieve also the plural, okay? So there is an automatic way of retrieving the variants, particularly the plural of the word. You see, if I search Ray or search Rays, I get the same number of results. So if I search this one, I include also the plural. Means those documents that contain only the plural form of the word, even if I searched only the singular. And the same for the adjectives. If I search for big, I will retrieve also those documents that say bigger and those documents that says biggest. Okay. In both cases, this is a vocabulary, particularly in English, which contains these endings of the singular, the plural, and the adjectives, both regular and irregular. So, for example, if I search for child, I will retrieve also children, and vice versa. Woman, women, mice, mouse, etc. And the third variant is the different spelling between American and British English. So again, I expect to get the same number of results, whichever version I use. This means that in some cases, when I build my search and I am using the singular, I know that I will retrieve also the plural. Okay, so some variants are retrieved automatically. Do you want to repeat this, Yannis?
Yes. Αυτό είναι ότι το σύστημα καταλαβαίνει την ώρα που κάνετε την αναζήτηση και περιλαμβάνει αποτελέσματα ακόμα όταν έχουμε συγκριτικά επίθετα μεγάλο, μεγαλύτερο, μέγιστο. Θα πάρει και τα τρία. Ή από ενικό σε πληθυντικό. Ακόμα θα περιλάβει δηλαδή και από τον πληθυντικό αν έχουμε κάνει στον ενικό την αναζήτηση και αντίστροφα. Όπως επίσης και τις διαφορές μεταξύ αγγλικής και βρετανικού συλλαβισμού. Δηλαδή πολλά τα παραδείγματα όπως αυτό το ιστρογόνο που λέμε πώς το γράφουν διαφορετικά σε Αμερική και Αγγλία. Πολλά παραδείγματα, το color το γράφουν μόνο με O στην Αμερική, OU στα αγγλικά. Το σύστημα καταλαβαίνει όλα αυτά και δίνει αποτελέσματα και από τα δύο. Από όλες τις πιθανές μορφές που μπορεί να έχει. Δανιέλα.
Okay. Following, we have mentioned already the Boolean operators. You may be familiar with these already. I don't know how much you employ them consciously, if you will. The reason why I wanted to mention them here, you see, there are some things that are explained, and I don't go long around these. You should know them, but in case you don't, just ask us and we can explain more. But one thing I wanted to clearly explain that when you write down two words, one next to the other, separated by a space in ProQuest, that space translates into an end. Okay, so in our previous example, concussion space sport meant concussion and sport. That was not a phrase search. Okay, so let me go briefly and quickly online. And let's see if I can go quickly showing the difference. Okay, I'm going and select only ProQuest One Academic and searching. Bear with me, my account has access to basically any possible. Okay, I go in here and the search was concussion sport. Okay, and I get some several hundred of thousands and something. Okay, if I put an end in between, I will get the same. Okay, and you see that I'm searching also the plural. You see, let's say that actually I wanted something like concussion in sport, like the one that was showing before. So I want to search these. Then I put the double quotes if I want to search exactly the phrase like this. The double quotes, like in Google, we search exactly as I am searching concussion in sport, but we'll switch off the variant so it doesn't retrieve the plural. If I want to retrieve the plural, I apply the asterisk just between the quotation marks, which is the truncation symbol, and will retrieve also some extension of the word sport. So something more, but considerably less than before. This is a very specific, very precise search. Okay. Do you want to repeat this, Yannis?
Ναι, είναι οι μπουλεανικοί χαρακτήρες που λέμε, που βάζουμε για να περιορίσουμε τα αποτελέσματα, να μην είναι εκατοντάδες χιλιάδες, με τα and, or και not, όπως έδειξε η Δανιέλα, προκειμένου να αποφύγουμε το θόρυβο, να το πω έτσι εντός εισαγωγικών, όταν έχουμε τα αποτελέσματα, να μην είναι σαν το Google εκατομμύρια, αλλά να είναι πολύ πιο συγκεκριμένα και σε αυτό που ψάχνετε. Δανιέλα.
Okay, one other thing to keep in mind is that when you search in the databases and you search for a concept, when you express that concept with a word, the system will search only that word. If you wanted to search that word, but also the possible alternatives, you need to expressly ask for those alternatives. When you search university, you meant also college or higher education, for example, you need to expressly list them down as alternatives separated with the or, so that the system knows that when you say university, you also mean possibly or college or higher education, which will increase the number of results. Okay, so the end, it's needed to focus your search to only those documents that contain all your search terms all in one place. But or is needed to make your search more flexible, to give the system more alternatives. Now, another way of giving the system flexibility is using the truncation. The truncation is expressed with the asterisk at the end of the word or in the middle of the word, and the asterisk will retrieve up to a maximum of 5 more characters from the given root. Okay, so if I stem, if you will, if I identify this as the stem, a column, these will be the variants that you can retrieve. Okay, so these are the possibility of saying just with a single word the possible variations that you can extract, that you can retrieve. Any questions on this? I saw appearing a note in chat. Is there anything that I should look into?
No.
Okay.
For the...
Okay. So you can also change this and you can look into this more specifically. You want to repeat this, Yannis?
Αυτό συνεχίζει απλά σε ό,τι λέγαμε πριν, πώς να επεκτείνετε και να βλύνετε την έρευνα και πώς να την περιορίσετε. Με το OR βάζετε παραπάνω θέματα, δίνετε μια περισσότερη ευελιξία στο σύστημα να ψάξει αυτό που θέλετε, όπως και με τον αστερίσκο που μπορεί να φέρει διαφορετικές μορφές της ίδιας λέξης, της ρίζας της λέξης που ψάχνετε. Δανιέλα?
Okay, the last tool that I wanted to introduce is the proximity operators, which are, let's say, a little advanced tool that you can use sometime instead of the and when you want to indicate a precise distance between the two words. Not necessarily that they are only present into the same document with the and, but they also need to stay one next to the other according a specific distance. The taken alone as they are, these two operators, pre and near, this one will keep the same order of the two words or three words. Near will retrieve them also in any order, so even reverse order. When used alone, they imply a maximum of 4 intervening words between the two terms. You can change this value, this default value, with a slash and a number, and you can say less than 4 or more than 4, and this will be the new maximum number of words between the two given terms. And that's a way of making them nearer one to the other, if with the end they risk to be too far one from the other. Okay, so it's just a way of being more precise, specifically when you are in databases that contain the full text of very long documents. Okay, do you want to repeat this, Yannis, briefly?
Daniela, since this is going to be on the presentation we're going to share, I suggest we move on because we have past the time.
Okay, so next to this, you will find several applications where I have applied some of these tools. So this one, for example, is searching for advances on psychotherapy on PTSD in Europe or European countries. I have applied the full text and the peer-reviewed filters, so I get these many, and you will see some examples here showing, okay? And this is the distribution between publication dates. This one is searching for immigrants or immigration or between Greece and Australia, and I found several interesting articles that you will go through. I have applied some filters here, again, to go to a reasonable number of results. And so it's another way of showing that you can select several arguments, several topics, This one is a long one. It's about COVID and the vaccination. It is in Italy, but you could replace Italy with Greece and could be useful also for your particular country. Okay, so again, it's an idea of several strategies that you could apply to search in several topics. Okay, this one is about economic and economic recovery plan, growth for Greek on Greece. Again, you can exclude some search types. You can limit specific period of time to make it more reasonable. And there are several articles. They are full text about Greece and economic crisis, etc. This one is particularly for new discoveries, advance and progress in construction architecture that will be against earthquake, seismic, etc. So again, you see, any topic can be covered, basically. There is one for archaeology. This one is for southern Italy, but you could, of course, change that to any other region in the Mediterranean or any other region you want to investigate. Okay, it's just some suggestion on how you could shape some searches depending on the topic of interest. And these are some other more that you can find. I hope some of them may be more interesting than others, but just I wanted to show you how you could shape some of them. They may not be the only way of searching these topics. This is my particular view based on experience, on the knowledge of the topic. You may have other idea of how to shape them, but just to know that there are some tools that you can combine to make them the searches more efficient. Okay, it comes with experience, it comes with trial and errors, but the system is easy enough for you to make your searches efficient. We have seen, so just a summary of what you have seen today. We have used this unified platform product that puts together collections of different types of source types, and we have made several searches from simple to a bit more advanced. Then we have evaluated and selected results in several ways, and also we have seen how we can use some advanced tools to make the search more efficient. Here you will find some useful websites where you can find documentation about the product, about the search strategy. There is also a LibGuide for the Greek clients that have some description of products bilingual. And so we invite you to visit these sites to get more information. And still, don't hesitate to contact us whenever you want to have some suggestions, some help. Okay? Any final questions that you may have?
There are some questions about how you can access. There's IP recognition, so you have credentials from the university. Αυτό που θέλω να απαντήσω κιόλας είναι ότι υπάρχει αναγνώριση των διευθύνσεων IP του Πανεπιστημίου. Οπότε μέσα στο δίκτυο του Πανεπιστημίου μπορείτε να μπείτε κατευθείαν στην ProQuest One Academic. Και αυτό που θα πρότεινα σε όλους είναι αυτό που λέει και η Ντανιέλα. Δοκιμάστε και μόνοι σας διαφορετικές στρατηγικές, παίξτε λίγο με την πλατφόρμα και τα διαφορετικούς τύπους περιεχομένων, ώστε να καταλάβετε ακριβώς και πώς λειτουργεί. Και ένα πράγμα όπως γράφετε την ώρα
Γιάννη, ήθελα να συμπληρώσω... συγγνώμη.
Ναι, όχι, αυτό λέω, την ώρα που θα δακτυλογραφείτε, το autocomplete, όπως βγάζει και η Google, είναι φτιαγμένο στον ακαδημαϊκό κόσμο. Δηλαδή δεν θα σας βγάλει αποτελέσματα άσχετα, επειδή πολλοί άνθρωποι ψάχνουν το ίδιο. Θα σας βγάλει αποτελέσματα που έχουν σχέση με μια ακαδημαϊκή έρευνα που έχουν κάνει άλλοι. Το σύστημα μαθαίνει μέσα στον ακαδημαϊκό κόσμο τις αναζητήσεις. Αυτό ήθελα να πω σαν... Και ο καθένας
I wanted to answer to a Vasily question. Is the question say, is there a link with the list of the advanced search operators? I just go back to one slide and just wanted to point out to this link here, ProQuest Platform Search Tips, and there is an online help in the platform itself where you see Search Tips link. You can click on that, you get the online help, but this one also is listing all the search features that I have just briefly described in the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so it is documented in here when you want to go and know more about this. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope it was useful.
Ήθελα...
Yes,
Daniela, just a
go ahead.
minute. I just wanted to answer something. Υπήρξαν δύο φορές η ερώτηση για το πώς συνδέεστε, πώς έχετε πρόσβαση στην ProQuest One Academic και επειδή, αν και μέσα από τους χώρους του Πανεπιστημίου μπαίνετε χωρίς να χρειάζεται κωδικός, γιατί πολλοί από εσάς φαντάζομαι είσαστε με απομακρυσμένη χρήση και δεν ξέρετε πώς να συνδεθείτε, σας συστήνω να καλέσετε στη βιβλιοθήκη του Πανεπιστημίου και να ζητήσετε οδηγίες αν δεν έχετε ήδη κάποιους κωδικούς που ξέρετε πώς να τους χρησιμοποιούν. Οπότε στη βιβλιοθήκη μπορείτε να... Ακριβώς, βλέπω εδώ ότι μέσω πρόξη του ΕΑΠ κλπ. Σωστά. Αλλά για λεπτομέρειες παρακαλώ επικοινωνήστε με τη βιβλιοθήκη του ΕΑΠ. Και εκτός από αυτό, ήθελα επίσης να πω κάτι που παρέλειψα στην αρχή και ζητώ συγγνώμη. Τις θερμές ευχαριστίες μας στη διεύθυνση και στο προσωπικό της Βιβλιοθήκης του Ελληνικού του Πανεπιστημίου για την προώθηση και την βοήθειά τους στην διοργάνωση αυτής της συνεδρίας. Οπότε, σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Συγγνώμη που δεν σας αναφέραμε στην αρχή.
Όντως, ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us today, and we will provide you the recording link and the PowerPoint presentation to all the participants, okay? It was great to have you all, and I hope we can meet again soon. I'm going to stop the recording now.